The garden at Alvaro Hernandez's home is ready. All summer, he and his wife, Rebecca, have been tending to their rows of cucumbers, tomatoes, and fruit. Now it's time to eat. The couple lives at Bermuda Estates Mobile Home Park in Chester, just off Route 1. ¿Qué crecen en este jardín?
Bueno, pues aquí crecemos matas de tomate, como ve, tenemos unas peras, tenemos fig, no sé si usted conoce esta hierbita. Yo aquí en Bermuda State llevo aproximadamente casi 12 años. Pues realmente me siento muy contento, muy feliz de estar en este lugar, ¿verdad? Porque en el cual nosotros podemos hacer, decidir, ¿verdad? Y se nos apoya.
But it wasn't always this nice here. In the past, Hernandez says the landlords were absent. The trailers were broken, weeds grew wild, and the one road that goes through the park was so battered that the school bus refused to go beyond the entrance.
Bueno, realmente me tiene sorprendido porque ha cambiado muchísimo, ¿verdad? Porque anteriormente, pues, el antiguo dueño tenía muy descuidado aquí.
Today, Hernandez's trailer, as well as most of the other homes here, could be mistaken for traditional stick-built houses in any suburban neighborhood. These trailers, or manufactured homes, come complete with driveways, porches, and yards. Bermuda Estates is the first mobile home park of its kind in the county. It's run by Project Homes, a nonprofit specializing in building high-quality, affordable housing, rather than a for-profit landlord.
So the difference between this unit and a lot of the other homes that you see in manufactured home parks is that we really built this to resemble and have the same structural integrity as a traditional stick-built home.
Madeline Petrie, Director of Mission Advancement for Project Homes, says residents here are partners, not just tenants.
Not only did we want to provide high quality housing, but we wanted to also undergo a thorough community engagement process so that we could really fully understand the needs of the community members and provide amenities and resources that match those needs.
What is a schedule?
Along with managing the property, Project Homes has also built a community center where residents can take classes such as English.
Okay. And then what will tomorrow be?
Tomorrow will be Tuesdays.
Han hecho mucho trabajo, ¿eh? Nos sentimos muy contentos por eso, porque, le digo, no tan solo se interesan en venir y cobrar la renta, ¿eh? Ellos vienen, ayudan, ofrecen ayuda y nos han ayudado bastante.
At a time when the supply of affordable housing is critically low, advocates like Senator Ghazala Hashmi say Bermuda Estates could serve as a model of how other mobile home park communities, often poorly run and using predatory practices, can work in the future.
We have a shortage of housing. And one thing that the research has shown is that manufactured homes is a growing trend that can help us to address the housing crisis. These homes will offer an opportunity for so many families to have safe and stable housing conditions.
But getting Bermuda Estates to this point wasn't easy. Dan Cohen, Chesterfield County's Director for Community Enhancement, says before the sale to nonprofit owner Project Homes, residents at Bermuda Estates were facing major problems.
So there were a lot of unsafe, conditions that existed there, at the time, and the county was always in a difficult position about what to do with it, because on one hand, they knew they would like to have the units fixed. On the other hand, they wanted to make sure that folks wouldn't be displaced.
The county repeatedly cited the former owner for safety violations and eventually pressured him to sell the park. The next step was to find a buyer who wanted to revitalize and manage Bermuda Estates without forcing residents out. According to the Manufactured Home Community Coalition of Virginia, 84% of mobile home parks that sold in the last 5 years went to out-of-state buyers. Some, like the 605 Village Mobile Home Park in Mineral, have seen rents rise dramatically after being bought by an investment firm.
when I was talking to the park owner, trying to find out if there was some interest perhaps in selling the park, I approached Project Homes and I said, do you have any interest perhaps in pursuing the purchase of the park? Then I stepped away and I let the two parties talk. We sort of created a situation to force the hand as best as we possibly could.
Project Homes purchased Bermuda Estates in 2020. Since then, they have not increased the rent. Instead, Project Homes says they've raised $4.2 million to buy and fix up the park. $800,000 came from Chesterfield County, the rest from private sources. This has allowed them to fix the old failing sewer pipes, repair existing homes, and to bring in new homes like this one.
So yesterday we got the unit sited, we pulled it generally where it needed to be, and today is the fine tuning and actually setting the structural supports for the unit.
Zach Miller, the Director of Housing Innovation with Project Homes, is in charge of construction at Bermuda Estates.
Since we took over the park, the number one thing we wanted to do is bring some better replacement units into the park for those that want and need them. We want homes that look more like traditional stick-built homes. They look like homes, they feel like homes, they last like homes.
As of now, each resident can purchase one of these trailers for between $25,000 and $35,000. This is much less than the $130,000 it would normally cost for a resident to buy and install a new home here. Miller says their goal is to have 6 more installed by the end of the year.
And I think what we've done here in Chesterfield County is provided a very important example. We've also created the pathway for other organizations and other localities to move forward using the kind of partnership and collaboration that we've seen in Bermuda Estates.
Yo me siento feliz y muchas veces orgulloso, digamos así, de poderle brindar a mi familia un hogar y que me den la oportunidad, ¿verdad?, de vivir aquí. Y yo tengo ese gran privilegio de sentir mi casa como un hogar, porque aquí está mi familia.
Bueno, pues yo creo que esto es todo ahora.
Thank you for watching. Continue to follow Virginia News and Stories by subscribing to our VPM YouTube channel.